This is the Mad Dragons Podcast. Well, g'day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mad Dragons Podcast. I don't really have too much to say other than this.
Oh no! We suck again! Oh no!
All right, let's get into it. So, welcome to Heroes and Villains Dolphins edition. Now, we use the word diabolical a lot on this program, and I'm going to use it again to describe referee Adam G. by Jingo by Crikey, who did his absolute level best to ruin the game with his decision-making. Now, Jack de Belin made two tackles in particular, which were penalised, and if a sin bin was going to be issued for either of them, it should have been the first one. The second tackle, the first contact was basically with the player's ass, and then has basically slipped down towards the feet area. Nothing even remotely resembling anything dangerous or illegal. And yet this is the one that resulted in de Belin being sin binned and the Dragons being down for 10 minutes, during which time we conceded points yet again, being a man down, and that proved the difference in the end. Now, it's also apparent that Adam G. by Jingo by Crikey also failed year one mathematics, as he seems to have lack the ability to actually count. Now, we actually saw this when Jack Bird scored his try, which, and I didn't actually see this at first, but I saw a comment on social media and went back to watch that entire set just to sort of see if it was true or not. And lo and behold, the try that Jack Bird scored was on the 7th tackle. Now, this wasn't a 7-tackle set, and there wasn't a set restart either, because we don't get those. So for those reasons, Adam G. by Jingo by Crikey gets the villain of the week. Now, in a game like this, it can actually be pretty hard to select someone who could, be considered a hero in the true sense of the word. Not too many players really put up a standout performance for my mind. Now, this week's hero, however, takes the title for something that he actually did off the field. Now, after the game, he's gone over to the crowd, over to a young Dragon supporter who I know for a fact had travelled over 3,000 Ks to be at the game, and presented her with his jersey, which he proceeded to sign, which I thought was a nice gesture, and you love to see that sort of thing. So for that reason, Jack de Belin, despite his sin binning, gets the hero for this week. So back to you, Donnie, in the central commentary position.
Thanks, Hazman. Again, I've said it before, whenever I see the ref and the bunker as the villain, I kind of feel like we've actually got nothing to complain about. The refs are always an easy target, and I think we had as much go in our favour as you said about the 7-tackle set as went against us. We'll talk a bit more about the specific moments later in the show, but the referee didn't have a great game, but also he wasn't biased against us. I didn't think he was just overall incompetent with poor decisions. I didn't think he was actually that biased either. I thought he was just shit. Yeah, he was just incompetent. So yeah. Anyway, well, we might just have a bit of a look at the moment Hazman was talking about, and then we'll come back and I'll have my 2 cents about it. All right, can I just say that for me the hero isn't Jack de Belin. Yes, it's a nice gesture for him to give up his jersey to a young fan, but for me that the hero is the young fan. She just epitomises all of us and what this club means to us. To see her tears of joy at this moment, despite the loss, kind of puts things into perspective for me a bit. The club and the jersey are still things that we should have pride in. We know the results are not going our way, but we love the Dragons. We love this club, and we have faith that we will at some stage be restored to our former glory. Now, I don't want to sit here and bang on about our feelings about Jack de Belin, but I would like to add my own villains this week, and that is those people that used this video, this beautiful video of this girl having this fantastic moment, used this video to have a crack at Mary Kay or to support Mary Kay. For those that don't know, Mary Kay is otherwise known as Ladies Who League, and in the lead up to the game, she wrote a pretty scathing opinion piece for the Raw about her feelings about Jack de Belin being made captain. But this video has nothing to do with Mary Kay's article, and regardless of what side of the aisle you sit with regards to Jack de Belin, stealing this young fan's moment to make any sort of false equivalence to support your point of view is completely distasteful. Plenty of peanuts need to pull their head in on this one and let this young lady have her moment. All right, we'll move in now to the Mad Dragons Vodcast Player of the Year voting. Judged as the Dragons' best was Jacob Little, our Big T. You gave Lids the 3. Can you believe that Moses Mbai was rated the Dragons' best 9 for so much of this season?
No, but like he didn't really do a lot in a beaten side, but he done enough in a beaten side. But Mbai, mate, he's got to go back to reserve for reserves, I think. I don't know how Hook seen Mbai as our number 9. Even Jack de Belin would have made a better number 9. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
as good as he made a 7?
Because he was a good 7. No.
Yeah,
but no. And I think I could be a better number 9 than Mbai. He's just too slow. He's getting on in age. It's time for him to sort of bow out nicely.
Yeah. No, it's one that I keep seeing come up, and it's like watching Jacob Little play. It is unfathomable how Hook could possibly think Moses Mbai was the better option for the Dragons.
We look so much faster with Little on the field. He scored a good try, and then he set up one, so he went all right.
Yeah, I thought he was probably the best player on the field in the first half across both. Well, that's why you've got this question, mate.
I thought we were a lot more quicker with him.
So certainly in the first half with 2 line break assist, a try assist, 53 tackles. I don't think any Dragons player got close to him, but he certainly did lose his effectiveness the longer the game went. And
he's not 80.
Yeah, there must still be some concerns over his ability to play 80 minutes. And I fear we desperately need to manage him. We need to do absolutely everything we can to make sure he doesn't get injured, because our other options at 9, talking about Moses Mbai, are pretty much non-existent. There doesn't seem to be a lot of other options there.
No, there's not. Is there? Mbai, what about your man Billy? He could play halfback, couldn't he? Hooker, couldn't he? He can do anything, Billy.
I don't think so, mate. I don't think he's.
No, neither do I. I think Mbai and Sullivan are only 2 options, really.
In the top 30 for sure. Connor and Haley down in lower grade.
They're outside that.
Yeah, but you can use anyone now. It doesn't matter whether they're inside the top 30 or not. They can use anyone. So yeah, they could easily bring one of those guys in if they want.
Managing the cap's another thing too.
Can Paul Turner play dummy half?
Well, that's kind of why he was brought to the club, I suppose, to be a utility, to be able to play a number of different roles. Yeah, I guess he could, but I don't think he'd be any better than Moses Mbai at it.
Yeah. And he played in the winning side today, didn't he?
He did, yes.
He did. It was a good win.
Well, in the end it was. It didn't look
Um,
too good early on.
And I'm sure you'll talk about that later.
Down 14-0 early, but yeah.
It was,
no,
that's right. Yeah. I actually turned it off at 14-0. I had to
Yeah,
go and do
well,
a couple of things.
a lot of people did.
Things. Yeah, I had to go and do a couple of things. And then when it came back, oh my God, what happened?
A lot of people wish they had other things to do, but yeah,
Yes.
at 14-0, it looked like it was going to be a long day. But you're right, we will get to that a bit later on. So
Yes.
second in the voting was Jack de Belin, and Hasman, you gave him the maximum. Why did you feel our stand-in captain was our best?
Well, I mean, apart from 16 runs for 138 running meters, I thought he showed some pretty good sort of leadership on the field as well, and made 60 tackles in his 70 minutes, and only missed one. Now, the only person that beat him for tackle efficiency was someone who is often maligned on this program, Moses Ambai, who made 15 tackles without error.
Yeah, well, some Moses and I love there from Hasman. What world is this? Yeah, I thought it was an interesting one. I certainly didn't have points for Jack in this game. I thought it was one of his worst games for some time. It had been a tough week for Jack, and I do question the decision to make him captain. He may have thought that he'd moved past the court case, the no fault stand down, the COVID barbecue shenanigans, but the decision to make him captain revealed the distaste for JDB from many NRL fans remained very strong, and he had a week of everyone sinking the boot in, and it had to raise some sort of emotions for him for incidents that he sort of put behind him, and all of a sudden, because he was now captain, they were back at the forefront. I thought he came up with a missed tackle that allowed a line break, and while he tried to lead by example, I felt made some tired decisions, and his stupidity burrowing in below the knees just minutes after being warned by the ref was a big factor in us losing this game. 60 tackles, it's a big effort, and so I can understand why some panel members still found some votes for him and still had him finishing second, but he certainly wasn't up there for me in this game. All right, third in the voting was actually a tie between Junior Amone and Zach Lomax. Jesse, you had votes for both players. Tell us why you had them in your top three.
I thought Junior's start to the game was great. Obviously scoring that early try. Yeah, he was. I thought he was trying his heart out, trying his running game, and it looked like he was discovering his old form that we saw at the back end of last year, which is promising signs because obviously he's been scrutiny as well for his performance of late. But good to see him getting out and having a dig. And yeah, that was a good try. He scored two. I thought, which was taken off, but I thought it was a try anyway. But we'll get into that later. And then the Zach Lomax, I thought Zach Lomax, he looked better again. So actually, Talathan Moan actually finished the game with 97 meters from 15 runs, but his kicking game was okay as well. And yeah, I thought his running game was his most prolific thing. As for Lomax, he finished the game with 142 meters, 70 post contact meters from 15 runs, and he had a smile in his face for a little while, and it's starting to show that he's getting back to some sort of confidence. It's going to take us a while to build it back up, but I thought he was actually enjoying his footy for a change, and I thought he actually ripped in. And again, Junior was another player that I thought ripped in, and yeah, hopefully he can get that form. But be interesting to see what happens with the makeup of the halves next week with Hunt returning.
Yeah. I'm going to go through my little bit, but there is a a comment or a question in the comments that I do want to get to. So going off script a little bit, but yeah, I had a couple of points for Junior Ramone as well. He's copped a heap of shit from fans, and they're still heaping on him now. But for me, this is the kind of role that I think Junior could be playing for us. He's a run first type 5'8". Ball playing, controlling the team around the park is not going to be his strong suit. He's not always going to come up with the right option as a ball player, but he can be. What he's got to get right first for those other things to come into his game is his running game. I think he can be a dangerous runner. So I was really happy to see him run 15 times in this game. Defensively, came up with that bad miss that cost us a try, but that was his only miss. So it was one of his better performances of the year defensively. His kicking game was solid with the second most kick meters that he's had so far this year, including forcing a line dropout and setting up a try, so a try assist. I would have liked to see him take more of the short kicks than Sullivan. Sullivan's short kicking game probably left a little bit to be desired in this contest. Lomax, he isn't one that I had in my top three, but yeah, that last 1 point is always a hard one to award, and there's always a few you could give it to. His involvement was okay, but again, I felt that like he never really looked like creating anything for us. So he never really looked like a genuine threat, which is what we need him to be. I might go to you for this one, Chloe. Mark Rutgers in the comments. He's not happy about some things that happened in Fig Tree for the New South Wales Cup game.